Hello, everybody. How goes it? My name is George Connelly, and welcome to episode 9 of the George Connelly podcast. This is going to be another themed podcast, like my last podcast, but I, f- I think you guys have realized by now that my last two podcasts that I uploaded were very low quality because I feel like I was just not focused. I wasn't focused on what I was saying. I had a lot of pauses. I had a lot of long pauses where I was just trying to regain my thoughts. In the past couple weeks, I've been pretty stressed out with school. Um, but stress is I feel people overreact about stress, quite honestly. I think stress is something that motivates me, and it's something that I need in my life, or else I'll be bored and not inspired. But too much stress is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I've ever been stressed out so much that I just lose it. I usually I have a pretty good temper, and it takes a lot to make me mad. But anyway, it doesn't take a lot to make me feel scared. That was kind of a bumpy segue, but this is another themed podcast where I'm going to be going through some scary stuff that has happened to me. Now, I haven't had like a really scary childhood and a really scary teen years so far, but I've had some relatively scary stuff. Not even scary, just some of them are definitely scary. Others are very. I was just uncomfortable in the situation. I have four here, and they're each a mini story, and they keep getting more and more scary and more uncomfortable for myself. So, without further ado, let's get into number one. Um, so I was the summer, no, not the summer, February vacation, maybe 2009, 2010. So I was 9 or 10. And we were going to go out to Colorado to ski, which I was very happy about. It was a 4 hour plane ride. I'm not sure, but like it wasn't actually 4 hours because of the time zone difference. But you get the point. It was a pretty long plane ride, and at that time I was kind of wigged out by planes. Like I wasn't a huge. I don't know most kids who like enjoy going on plane rides, but now I love planes. I love going on plane rides. I love being in airports. That's a lot of fun for me. But I was sitting and we were ready. We were almost ready for takeoff, but it was about a 30-minute delay. Like we were in the plane, but we just weren't taking off. We didn't hear anything. And then the one of the flight attendants goes on and says, "There are dents in your plane, but we're gonna try and fix it, and we'll be taking off shortly." So I'm sitting here, a kid wigged out by planes, thinking, "What the heck is going on? There are dents in the front of our plane." I found out later that it hailed or something, and there were a bunch of small dents in the plane, but the way they said it, it wasn't like, "Yeah, there are some small dents in the plane. We should be able to get them out." It's like, "There are dents in the plane, but we're gonna lift off anyway." That's how I interpreted it as a 9-year-old kid. But I was wigged out. Like, I was just straight up scared the entire ride. Um, so, yeah, that's not the scariest story. Ooh, my ringer is on. I should probably turn that off. Um, so, anyway, sorry for that disruption. That's just number one. That's dents in the plane. My second story is this was recent. It was in early August of 2015, so not even a year ago, about 6 months ago, somewhere near there. And my family, some of my cousins, and a family friend were gonna go up to Maine, um, which from where I live in Rhode Island is about a 6-7 hour drive, somewhere near there. And we were gonna go whitewater rafting, and I was very excited. I'm not I was kind of wigged out by the concept because I know it's pretty extreme because we were doing class 5 rapids, which is like the craziest rapids you can do. There's class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and then the most extreme is class 5. And we were going to do class 5. So we got up early and we walked over to the whitewater rafting place, and we got there and there were just these like 25 to 30-year-old dudes, and you can tell that they were all stoned, and I'm like, are these really the guys who are gonna lead me through Class 5 rapids like for the next 8 hours? Um, then the medical dude came out. I'm trying to remember his name. They called him like the Purple Dragon or something. I forget his name. No, Lee the Dragon. I'm pretty sure his name is Lee the Dragon. Dragons blow smoke, but I'm not sure if there's any connection there. But anyway, we got there, and Lee the Dragon came out and basically said, "All right, here are some safety precautions." And he said that like you're probably gonna fall out of the raft in Class 5 rapids, so be sure that you keep your head up and your legs up and you just float down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep that calm when I'm in the water of a Class 5 rapid. I was so like that's something that's like fun, and I enjoyed it, but I was scared the whole time. I never fell out. I don't think anyone in my raft actually fell out. There was one raft with my dad, my brother, and two other people, and then there was another raft with the rest of my family and some of my cousins. They had a couple people fall out, but I never fell out, and I'm happy I did not, I should say. That was definitely scary. Um, it was like sometimes being scared is good to a certain extent. Like you always want to be. I like being uncomfortable in certain situations because it just makes things new. That's why I like some odd stuff that people usually don't like. Like I love public speaking in front of my class, stuff like that. People dread that. I embrace it. Um, I welcome it, if you will. But anyway, that was too much scary for me. um, I might be sounding lame if you guys have done whitewater rafting, but I mean, this was Class 5 rapids, and those rapids are like 2 feet deep, and under those 2 feet of water, it's rocks. That's scary stuff. Um, that was just. Then the day after, we went riverboarding, which is. And I'm not. This is exactly what it is. You can look it up. It's going on a boogie board through whitewater rafts. No, through rapids. I, I wasn't scared at all. I had the time of my life. It was so fun. I guess that I was just scared of falling out of the boat and landing in the water. Cause when I was riverboarding, I was already in the water, doing flopping around, doing whatever I did. I would do riverboarding again in a heartbeat. That was one of the highlights of my summer. But whitewater rafting, I'd be a little bit iffy. So those are my first two stories. I have two more. Here's number three, and this is very recently. This was 2 months ago, maybe January. So less than 2 months ago, early January. I went into my dentist's to get. I had two cavities, so I was going to get one of them done then, and then wait like 2 weeks, and then get the other one done. So I'm getting the first one done. I get my Novocaine shot, and then the he's working on the one that I'm supposed to be work that's supposed to be worked on, and then it's on the top of my teeth, like the upper section of my teeth, and then he starts poking around at the bottom of my teeth. And when he's done with the top one, he's like, "You know what? I think we're going to be able to do your other cavity without Novocaine." I said, "So what? What? Wait, can you say that again?" He said, "I think instead of having you go to 2 trips, why don't you just get this other one done with Novocaine or without Novocaine at all?" And I said, "I don't think you understand. I need Novocaine. Like I don't handle pain well." For those of you who don't know, Novocaine is a liquid that you inject into your mouth, or your dentist injects into your mouth to numb you from any pains that might happen if you're getting a tooth pulled, a cavity done, a root canal, you're getting your wisdom teeth out. I think wisdom teeth is different. I think they put you under for that anesthesia. But he said, here's what we'll do. I'll give you a little test, and if it hurts, then we won't do it. We'll do it the next day. And if it doesn't hurt, then we'll just do it right now without the Novocaine." And I was torn because I hate needles. I absolutely hate needles. Like when I go to the doctor, I'm nervous the entire time. I just absolutely hate it. But I also didn't want to go back and have to wait for to get a needle in my mouth again. So I was really torn. Um, so basically, he started pinching around and it started to hurt. So I was waiting for him to take his tools out of my mouth so I could say something, but he just kept on going. So I'm sitting here without Novocaine in my mouth, getting a cavity drilled, and I'm just thinking, uh, is my test done? Like, can I say if I'm hurting or not? He went through the entire thing. It took 5 or 10 minutes, felt like an eternity, and it was very painful at times. It was a cavity on like the top of my tooth. So, if it was deep in the tooth, there's no way he could have not done it with Novocaine. I would have been screaming in pain, but I was still in a pretty large sum of pain because it's not like you're getting punched in the mouth pain. It's just like the acute awkwardness and the sensitivity in your mouth. It just made me, oh, it was very tough for me to handle. So that is my story of how I got my cavity filled without any Novocaine, which not many people can say, I don't think. And last one, this is one of the scariest situations I've ever been in, and I'm almost for certain none of you have gone through it. And I certainly didn't intend to, but I had it coming. So this one's relatively recent too. This also happened in the summer of 2015. The exact date was August 6th because I remember the day after my brother John left for college and he left on the 7th. So I remember it was a day before John left and it was August and August is very nice. So I had my window open and my in my other room that I sleep in when John's home, my window is right next to my bed, like directly next to it. So I was sleeping, and it was about 6 in the morning, and I woke up like I was half awake, but I knew I was awake, but I didn't have my senses, and I felt like little um, twinkling. That's not the right word. I don't even know the right word. Little like trickling of something on my right, no, on one of my cheeks, and like I just felt like these tiny like pins going into my face. And then I realized that what was going in my face were raindrops which were going through the screen of my window, and they were just hitting my face a couple times, and I didn't really think much of it, but because I was half asleep, I didn't know what I was doing. So then I wake up again at about 7:30 ish, and I wake up because I hear wind outside. But again, half asleep, I don't hear, or I don't do anything. I just leave my window open, and then at about 8:30 or 9, um, the wind becomes insanely loud, and I hear a tree branch hit my screen. Like, and the wind, to put it in perspective, was 75 miles an hour, which constitutes as a class 2 tornado. So here I am, sitting or laying down in my bed, half asleep, with my window open, and there is literally a tornado 5 feet away from my face. And I jumped up. There was rain pouring. It's like someone threw 5 gallons of water at my face, pouring through the window. The wind is swirling around my house. I'm hearing the cracking of trees. Branches are flying everywhere. It was the craziest thing that has ever happened to me. It was absolutely surreal. Like everything was gray outside because the wind picked up a bunch of dust and gravel, and it went literally the tornado went right over my house, directly over it. And it was the funniest thing because you could see the direct path of it going down my road. My house, you could see it hit one of my trees, missed two of them, and then hit one of my neighbor's trees. It made a line of trees and branches and debris, like all down my road. And my window was open during it, so I slammed it shut. And I shared a room with my brother at the time, and I looked over at him, and I had a cut on my arm because like rocks were being pelted at me, and I was dripping wet, and I. It was 10 seconds where I was sleeping, and then I'm standing up wide awake dripping wet with blood on my arms, and my brother's like, what the heck happened to you? I'm like, did you just see that? He's like, no, I was asleep. I'm like, what? It was the absolutely it it's not like I wasn't scared because it happened so fast. It was 15 seconds, but it was the craziest 15 seconds ever. I it was so funny, but so alarming at the time. I think alarming is the best word I can use. So, those are my four stories that I can think of right now that are some of the scary stuff I've happened to me. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think I've encountered a ghost. Once I thought I felt something tapping me on the arm, but it was my cat. So, no ghosts. Um, I think there's definitely some other stuff that's happened to me that I'm just not thinking of at the moment, but that's it for my stories. Before I let you guys go, please comment down below if you prefer themed podcasts or my earlier podcast where I do a Q&A, talk about YouTube, talk about YouTuber, stuff like that. Um, Please, I need your feedback on this channel because when I don't get your feedback, I can't make content personalized to my viewers. If you made it this far into the podcast, that is awesome. Give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it a lot. I've been working on the YouTube channel. Quiz Yourself is staying on my channel. I thought I might let it go, but I'm going to keep it on, and hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to get a video on Wednesdays, which I'm very excited about. Um, but the only problem is I'm just not sure what I'm going to do, if it's going to be another series for my account, or if it's just going to be a random video like I've been posting. Um, I think the last 3 Wednesdays I've posted random short films, if you want to call them that. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm hoping that that you guys are all doing well. I appreciate your listening to the podcast, and I will see you on Monday with another new Quiz Yourself. See you guys later.